All right, hey, welcome into Off the Radar. You already heard him. This is a special episode. Meteorologist John Birchfield joining us. Hey, John.
This is not green screen magic. I'm actually here in person.
What if you're not? What if this was pre-recorded and we augmented? You can poke him. There,
he's real.
He's real. Okay, you're there.
I'm not a hologram. That would be some impressive technology. But no, good to have join us and Off the Radar.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep us on task a little bit, but I understand running is the.
Go.
We're going to stay off the
task?
rails.
Yeah, we
off
don't
the
do
radar.
that.
There we go. Off the rails.
Yeah.
So it's not just us.
We've got
It's
our
our-
running radar rangers as well.
Oh.
You like
Nice
that?
alliteration to it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, of course. We've got Tiffany in the upper corner. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, how you guys
Amazing
doing?
digital
She is.
content producer.
Yeah.
We got Mark running camera. Mark, you are running all over the place right now.
Seriously.
Like a lightning bolt there. And then we've got our little chipmunks hanging out down in the control room. That's a thing, John. Trust me, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
They're running around too.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Sorry we didn't get you on the show in time for our fantasy football weather draft last week.
Oh,
That was pretty fun.
would have loved to join that.
But you're going to be talking about something that you absolutely love and are very well known for, and that's quite literally running, right?
Yeah, and people in general love talking about the weather. Runners and small talk about the weather just go hand in hand, like milk and cookies. You can't talk to a runner without talking about the weather a little
Do you
bit.
get stopped
true.
more out on runs about the weather, or do you get stopped more at the grocery store?
Everywhere. The weird thing,
that.
it's weird though running into people in public, and usually they recognize you from the news, but some people are like, "Are you John the marathoner?"
You know,
That's how you made the big leagues. Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a meteorologist too."
Okay, out of our radar rangers, who here has run a marathon or a half a marathon?
Oh.
We got one. John, you can raise your.
anyone who's
There you go.
anyone who's done the morning show should be raising their hand.
Yeah, I've done enough steps to qualify.
Yeah.
The only
Feels
thing
like it.
only thing I've run for is run for the border to Taco Bell. That's all I've.
Run from the bear.
My constant joke is I get tired driving 26 miles. I don't necessarily want to. I don't understand. How do you run? What do you think about for 26 miles?
You spend a lot of time in your own head. You learn a lot about yourself. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Sometimes
The next
not
mile.
so good.
If you're not thinking about like running and your pace and super focused, you're probably like, ooh, this is not going very well.
Yeah, I mean it's mentally different from the other sports. In football and basketball, you have commercial breaks, you have TV timeouts, you have a chance to like regroup and gather yourself if things aren't going well.
Yeah.
But what I think makes distance running so tough is if you're having a bad day or you're in a bad headspace, you can't just hit pause and be like, okay, I'm going to regroup here at halftime. You got to regroup as you're exerting yourself close to all out. So I think that's one of the challenges there. Definitely can have some negative thoughts and stuff, but
I have negative thoughts and I haven't even taken my first step towards it.
So Ryan, I've got a funny story when it comes to John running.
Oh boy.
I think John might remember this. I was out on a walk with Kaylee Kirby and Sophia Pericone. We were just enjoying a nice little walk.
there's that side cut.
This was at
I do
Side Cut
remember.
Metro Park. And I'm like, that guy up there kind of looks like John a little bit. He gets closer. We're like, that's John. Is that's John? So we're all freaking out. We're saying, hi, John. Hello. He goes,
Okay, I don't remember my name being called.
That was not his stride. He does not run
literally-
like that.
Well, he also doesn't run in heels, but just it
No.
was just a wave. Didn't even say a hi. But then you texted later on, like, hey,
He was training,
focused.
right?
Yeah, and
was.
sometimes
Yeah.
I think you were all wearing sunglasses because it was a nice bright day along the river. Sometimes hard to make out exactly who it is at that pace. But
I just thought it was some of your fans.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
one of his many
I thought it
things.
was Kaylee. That's why I sent the text.
that would have been funny if it wasn't me.
I can do
You run
this.
so
awkward.
fast, you're like a blur,
But what's awkward is if you do, give a big wave or a hello at somebody and it turns out it's not the person you
Not.
think it is, and it's like,
Well, then you're just being super friendly.
Yeah.
That's all
Unless you
good.
call him by name.
unless you say their name and it's not them. But.
I noticed one other person, one of our radar rangers there, Alexis, you raised your hand
Yeah,
for running a half marathon.
yeah.
How many of those have you done?
4.
Wow.
So you've done like two marathons.
marathons.
Yeah, if you combine them,
Does it count like that? Yeah, that doesn't count, right?
No, it doesn't.
We can count it.
It could.
Oh, John!
John says yes,
That's the man.
yes,
He
yes.
says it. There you go.
I'll take it.
I could do the 26. It's that .2 that's really.
I'll do the .2 for you.
Okay, so between John and Alexis, curious, like, what would you say if you, above anything else? What's your motivation that keeps you coming back with running?
It adds a lot of structure to your life.
Yeah.
Setting long-term goals, I think, is important with anything that you do. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day of life that we don't, think about what really drives us and motivates
So
us.
it's like a long-term motivation.
Yes.
All right, Alexis.
I was gonna say, like, you prove to yourself, like, when you want to quit, like, you can keep going.
Aw.
So why haven't you
like-
done a full marathon then?
My goal is I'm going to do it next year.
You are? Yeah. Okay. Good. We have it on air.
Alexis.
It is a lot of
Confirmed.
training, and it takes a lot of time to train for it, which I don't have much time, so that's a whole thing.
That's a real
Yeah,
thing, right?
it's true.
Hey, John, during the marathon, are you allowed to wear headphones or anything?
So if you're in the elite athlete division, so you're a professional athlete, you're not allowed to wear headphones or any type of thing that might enhance your performance.
Oh, geez.
Most people, I would say, do listen to something, but if you look at as we're going to talk about some of those major marathons, if you look at the people at the front, they're not having their AirPods in because it's not against.
Do we think that's is it because it helps with pacing, or somebody could be communicating? Is that why, or what's the reason?
I don't know if
behind
the
that?
communication's going to
They're on a
help.
phone call.
I don't know if a coach is in there going, "Hey, you're going really slow." Like, maybe that doesn't help. Yeah.
It's like NASCAR.
No, I mean, there's some studies that do show the performance-enhancing benefits of listening to upbeat music.
Gotcha.
Which is why I think when you go to the gym, whether it's lifting weights, going on the cross-training device, you want to get pumped up.
Yeah,
Some
we
fast
do.
music.
See, I grew up as a swimmer, and so now that I've transitioned, I don't really do that too much anymore. Now, if I do like a cardio workout or do other things, and I put headphones in, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever, because
Definitely
growing
gives
up,
you a boost, Ryan.
I just had to listen to water for 12 years of my life doing swimming.
I'm the
so.
weirdo
Yeah.
who listens to
Makes
books.
it go by
though,
faster.
while
You
I
listen? Yeah, Alexis listens to
listen to
books.
books.
Oh,
when
that's
she's running.
okay. That's a little boring for me.
It just keeps,
I would rather listen to nothing than an audiobook. I hate to say it, but
it
to each
keeps me
their own.
distracted. Like, I'm really into the book, so I just keep running.
It's
and
actually a
running.
really good idea.
Yeah.
I think I would be. I think I would be
It is
too.
weird, but
I think I would get too into the run, and I would get distracted. I don't think I'd pay attention to the book.
No,
enough.
you do.
I get too into the book. I'd be like running hard and they're like,
Yeah,
oh
you're
my
like-
gosh, and then they went in the forest and no, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be
What
able to.
kind of? Yeah, give me an example. Give me one book you've listened to while you're running,
Me?
Alexis. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
To check out
TV.
what Alexis likes to read. Well read, well said.
That's true. You
Right
can watch
here
our
on
other
WTOL
streaming
11
show
Plus.
where I talk
Audiobooks
about
for
all
running.
the books I read. We just read Ward D by Frida McFadden, which is actually kind of creepy. So those are weird to listen to while I'm running.
Did you
That's
run?
Especially if you're running like in the
Listen to
woods.
If I'm running at like the park, I'm like, oh, like, this is weird. Gotta get out of here.
That could be, if someone's getting murdered in the
Hey,
book,
run
you're like,
faster.
oh my gosh.
I gotta get out of here.
All right.
Hey.
So, hey, for once it wasn't us taking it off the radar.
Good job.
Somebody else
Yeah.
filled in
It's
this
those
week.
little chipmunks back there.
Yeah, we're gonna let you two squirrel away for a little while. All right, what are we talking about with John with running?
So John mentioned the marathons that have been impacted by weather. Are there any that come to mind at all?
I think every single race is affected by the weather. It's one of the factors that affects it the most. Both the temperature, the winds, the dew point,
Yep.
just about everything can have some sort of impact. I know leading up to the weeks before a race, I get a lot of questions about the weather.
Sure.
And
I would imagine, and the pressure's on you because you make the weather, John.
I do.
So this is important.
Oh, Lord.
Well, that's what people come up to. They say it like that, don't they?
Yeah, they assume that I control the weather, but 2 to 3 weeks out is that territory where it's like, oh, I can make an educated guess.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting specific, I have
It's
no
gonna be
idea
too
3
tricky.
weeks out.
So are we going to be talking about specific races John has done here, or we're talking about anywhere in the world?
Just overall.
In general.
I did not ask John, okay, what weather was terrible or great for your race?
Okay, so
Yeah,
go ahead and start. Go ahead and start this. Then.
So the first one is the 2012 New York Marathon.
And why are we saying this one?
So Hurricane Sandy actually canceled it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then it wasn't much of a race.
That was the one I was going to do.
Yeah, we signed, me and Tim signed up to do that one.
Oh, yeah. That's the reason
Yeah.
you haven't run a marathon.
Exactly. I was trained up and
Yeah.
everything.
Then you
So-
eat pizza at the end of it. That'd be
I ran as far as the elite runners did.
So in
that day.
2012, I wasn't running at that point in my life yet, but I did go to college in New York State in 2012. And I remember they didn't cancel classes at Cornell. We still had to go to class.
Oh.
But I remember having an umbrella because it was raining so hard, and the umbrella would like flip inside out because of the winds. And even like 2.5 hours inland, we were still getting some strong gusty winds from
Wow.
Sandy. But obviously being, in New York City and going through all the boroughs, yeah, the weather would
wouldn't
not
have worked.
No. Would not have been pleasant, would not have been safe too. The race directors
Yeah.
have to make emergency management decisions based on the fact
Sure,
that
so just
New
not a
York's-
good situation.
Yeah, 50 plus thousand people. crossing the bridges.
If they all blew hard enough the other direction, it probably would have stopped the wind.
yeah, they could have reversed
Yeah, they
Andy's
could have
course.
just done it, slowed it down.
If only it would have worked.
Okay, what's the next one on your
So
list?
our next one is the 2018 Boston Marathon.
Oh, we're going
Okay,
east,
this
we're on
one-
the East Coast here.
Donuts.
Yeah, this one I'm a little more familiar with. So, you know the east wind that we get here off the lake in March?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine that, but for 26.2 miles. Like, imagine running from
Wow.
Toledo to Point Place when you have an east wind.
I couldn't imagine, even if I had a southwest, I don't care what wind I had.
Yeah. So
Winded.
Boston, not only was it a headwind the entire way, which
Yeah.
is notable, but it was pouring down rain sideways basically the entire
Well, that's
time.
one of those, if it's going to be miserable, it might as well be really miserable, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
I don't know. I would not want it to be really miserable.
Did you run in that one?
I didn't. My wife was in attendance spectating there. But what's interesting about Boston is you don't start and finish at the same point. It's called a point-to-point course.
Oh.
So for instance, Mercy Health Glass City Marathon, you start and end on campus,
Yeah.
UT campus. Boston, you finish in Boston, but you start 26 miles west of town in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. So you are moving west to east the entire way. The wind was moving
So you
east
better
to
hope
west.
that if you're signed up for that race, you don't have an east wind that
So it was an east wind, rainy.
So
and
it's not a loop. It's like a.
Nope, it's a point-to-point.
Okay. All right. What do we got next?
So those are the only two that I had that are impacted by weather. I do have a surprise for you, John.
Yeah, we have a race that we want you to try. John. Would you be
Antarctic?
open for anything?
Oh,
Can't keep up with those penguins.
There is an Antarctic marathon that happens every single year. You guys, should we do like a crowd fundraiser? Get them going to the Antarctica?
Yeah, let's start a fund.
This would be
That'll
fun.
I
Mark,
love the
you're
way the
first.
penguins.
What
are
does
like,
that involve?
What's that?
This
You
marathon?
have to run 26.2 miles in Antarctica.
In your
It's a race that
snowshoes.
and it happens every year.
like that, like like the penguins.
Can you belly slide?
Exactly.
You can. Ooh, yeah. Could you belly slide? That'd probably be frowned upon.
You could be like, oh,
Probably.
I fell.
In snowshoes.
I mean, if you try to listen to something in your, earbuds, they're probably going to freeze.
Well,
with
they'd
how
freeze
cold it
in
is.
your ears. That would be your penalty.
Yeah, that would not be pleasant.
Yeah, I've heard of this happening. And I immediately, when we knew we were getting you on the show, John, and I'm like, I wonder if he'd ever thought about running the Antarctica Marathon. Do you know anybody who's done this?
No.
You could be the
We're gonna have to work
first.
What about the Iron Man one?
In Antarctica?
No.
Oh, you're talking about like in Hawaii at the end of the Ironman, you run a full marathon.
You run. What's it? You run.
Well,
you
you gotta
bike,
swim. You gotta
swim.
swim,
Swim,
bike,
bike,
and
run.
run. Yeah.
Have you tried that?
No, I don't swim, but I know a lot of triathletes in the area, and it's definitely amazing, having the ability to do not one, not two, but 3 different disciplines.
Well, that's what Alexis did over the weekend, right?
Right, well,
I did a relay, an Ironman relay. So I had 2 of my buddies, Sean and Zach. Sean was our swimmer.
Shout out.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, hey, Zach. Sean was our swimmer, Zach was our biker, and then I ran the half.
See, that will work.
Fun.
Ryan
That's
could
fun.
It was
swim.
up in Michigan,
What's
the
that?
Ironman 70.3.
That could work. Ryan could swim. John could run.
We need a biker.
I can't
Kaylee.
bike.
Who bikes?
You
I could ride a bike.
It's a
Jeez.
56
I like
mile
biking, but I
bike.
can't bike and swim. At that point, I might as well just do
Well,
the
you're
whole
the
darn thing
swimmer.
myself. Yeah.
You're
You're definitely
stuck.
the swimmer.
I did see Ironman is coming out with just a bike swim combo.
Okay, duathlons?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some.
I was really hoping they'd never do that because I've always had an excuse for why I've never had to do
Well,
it.
now you don't have an excuse. I mean, there's duathlons in Toledo. I know there's one at Secor Metro Park where you do the run around the Secor Trail and then
Yeah.
you bike kind of around that,
Oh, darn, the running thing.
yeah.
Do it.
So, Ryan, I think
Yes.
this next one might be a marathon you'll want to do.
Please tell me it's ice cream.
Ice cream run.
Close.
food?
It's
Oh.
food.
Oh, I've heard of this one. Is this
Oh.
in North Carolina?
It is.
Yeah. tell me a little more about it, but I've heard about it.
So during the race, you get to eat a dozen donuts.
You run like the mile and a half out. You have to eat the dozen donuts and then I believe run the
Run
mile and a
back.
half back is what it is.
We had
Sounds
something
like a recipe for tummy issues.
We had something
good
like
as
that
the
here
donut.
locally.
Not a
All
good
that
idea.
sugar.
I actually think, John, you know what? I take that back. I think it is, and I think one time I saw the winning time for it because it's a full 5K, right? So
Okay.
3.1 miles. The winning time one year I saw it was like 16 minutes something.
Oh, wow.
Wow, after eating the donuts too?
It has to include eating the donuts.
Yeah.
There's a
Look at
donut
Alexis.
run.
Look up the record time
Okay.
for the Krispy Kreme marathon. Maybe I'm
It's
a little
a
off, but it's
5K,
close.
not a
So
marathon.
what they do is they take it, they smash the donuts down.
Oh, it's just like the hot dog eating contest. Where you gotta, you gotta make it more palatable.
You don't think? How would your stomach handle
The
eating a dozen?
fastest known
here we go.
time is 24 minutes and 31
Oh, I
seconds.
was way off then. Okay, I was
That's
way
close.
off.
Yeah.
24 minutes. That's not bad.
Still impressive.
And it is a 5K.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's
that's
called
not
the Krispy
that-
Kreme
That's not that fast. I take back everything nice.
Oh
I
wait,
said.
it
But
says it
during the
doesn't have
marathon,
an
you do have
official
to take
course.
in a lot of fuel during the race, just
Yeah.
not donuts typically.
What doesn't have an
It
official
doesn't
course?
have an official course record due to its consistently changing course and race logistics.
Okay.
So they must move it
Okay, so
around.
it's a little on the fly.
Isn't there
Yeah.
a donut run locally here somewhere?
There was one at
There is.
Fallen
Yeah.
Timbers, isn't
Yeah.
it like something?
We had it on Good Day.
Yeah, it's like every mile they get a donut.
They're normally around like
Do you drink beer on that one too? There's something like that.
It's like beer yoga.
Beer run.
beer.
B-E-E-R-U-N, beer run.
After you drink beer.
That's different. That one's different.
Don't
All right,
that.
so we are at that time now with
Yes.
our top 3.
Oh, we're going to show number
Okay.
3 right
We're
now?
going to show number 3.
John, where do you think we're going? Everybody always gets a guess.
So it could be anywhere in the United States or
Anywhere in the world,
In the
but,
world.
Anywhere,
but you want to? Is it in the U.S. or no? That means no.
Well, the map is centered
I
over
think
the
this
U.S.
one's in the U.S.
Okay, what do you want to go with, John?
Oh, let's go with Illinois.
All right, you are close but way off. Utah.
Okay.
Southeastern Utah. Where
I
they,
saw this video today. This is crazy. So
Wow.
this was a tornado in southern Utah, right on the border with Colorado. It actually crossed into Colorado.
You're on P3.
Look at that. That's just
Wait,
so intense.
really? Oh, my bad.
There we go. Isn't that cool?
That is
Right?
cool.
Check
that
this
it?
out.
Is that
Nope,
the right
Yeah.
we were right the first time.
Oh,
I
sorry,
thought so.
sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay.
it's in the wrong order. I'll leave now.
Start running your next marathon.
I gotta run.
Gotta go.
Well, actually, Ryan, that was perfect timing with that nerd voice.
Why?
Because it is
that
also
time.
time for our weather word of the week.
Oh, I didn't help you with this one.
Oh.
What is it,
Oh.
John?
Good luck with that.
Isotherm?
Isaac.
You didn't know about that?
An
A line of constant dew
isotherm.
point temperature.
Oh, you got to put your nerd voice on when you do it. That's part
My
of the thing.
glasses.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nerd
All right, go
glasses.
ahead, John. Say it.
Isodrosotherm. A line of constant dew point temperature.
Nicely done.
You know, I've heard of isotherm, lines of constant temperature.
Yeah.
But the drazo prefix must mean.
It's all about the
Dew
dew point, the moisture in the atmosphere. You gotta really nerd out for that one. We're gonna be right back here on Off the Radar. Stay with us.
So you're a nerd that runs a marathon. Kind of winded from that race right there.
Yeah, we were just running around the studio. John.
A lot of
ran-
donuts were eaten during that commercial break.
What did
wish.
Tiffany? What did you say during the break there?
Now I really want a Boston cream donut.
I thought that was perfect because we're talking about the Boston Marathon and the Krispy Kreme challenge.
What was the other one,
Yeah.
Tiffany?
Oh
A
yeah.
Long John.
There you go. Either one would work.
Yeah, nothing like those post-marathon donuts. Food hits different after running 26 miles.
Like as a runner, you're very conscious of what you eat ahead of a race, but when it's done, you go
Yeah.
into it, right? Are you
Yeah, the
allowed to?
donut probably would not be the best to have the morning of, but after the race, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, carb load back up. Kaylee, where are we
But
heading
what
next?
about during a race? What about like food, like before, during?
During the race, you're taking in
snacks?
all carbohydrates, no fat, no
Okay.
protein, just all carbs.
So if I'm standing on the sideline and I got a nice juicy steak, you're not taking
No,
that.
that would not go well.
So our next segment is kind of segueing into that. It's hydration or hype.
Yeah.
And you're going to walk us through some of the things that racers do to improve their running time, or
Yeah.
it might be fat.
Do we have to like guess what it is? Like
Well,
if it's real or not?
So-
we can kind of go that route as if
Yeah.
there's any legitimacy to it or if it's just a fad. Oh,
First
pickles.
one.
Are we're talking about hydration here?
It can be anything. Is it helpful? Does it hurt?
That looks helpful to me.
Pickle juice.
Does
Oh, are you
pickle juice
asking?
help or
Is it
hurt
good,
runners?
John?
What do you think?
Yeah.
I know for a fact this is a good one.
Yeah, I mean, some people definitely have tried pickle juice for hydration. I wouldn't say so much during the marathon, but more so like longer ultra endurance events.
Okay. Oh,
really?
You know, I think the reason is because there's a lot of salt in there, so it helps replenish those electrolytes.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting in some fluid. I don't know about eating the actual pickles themselves,
No, but the
I'll take
juice.
those.
the juice.
And maybe the taste is a little different, right? Kind of
Yeah.
sparks you back up a little bit.
Yeah, the taste isn't for me.
It's not for me either.
I mean, I do like pickles on like a burger, but pickle juice during a race, hard pass.
I've Alexis,
Pickle
you doing
juice is
this?
good for cramps. Is that?
I was gonna say, I feel like it.
You doing this, Alexis? Pickle juice?
No, I don't like pickles enough.
Is pickle juice
drink
good for
pickle
cramps?
Your
juice.
cat's name is Pickles.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
good
I
for
don't like
cramps, and
pickles.
that could also be one of the benefits.
She doesn't like
Yeah.
her cat. Do you hear what
Because
she
don't
said?
you
love my
hurt
cat.
after a run
No, you said I don't like pickles.
with your legs, whatever?
Okay.
Yeah.
We are having two conversations
Oh,
right now.
sorry.
The next one,
My-
Off
Mark.
the rail.
Mark, do you think cranberry juice is helpful or hurtful for runners?
That's good because you said it had the sugar in it, whatever, glucose.
No, you don't want sugar. You
No,
want
yeah,
salt.
sugar's bad.
Shush.
John?
I don't think you want cranberry juice. It has too much sugar, right?
I don't think it has too much sugar.
Oh.
So I don't personally know anybody who's taken cranberry juice, but I actually
Yeah.
just finished reading a book by a guy who actually won the U.S. championships in 1981 for the ultra marathon distance for 100
Yeah.
kilometers. And he drank cranberry juice during his runs, which was totally unconventional at the time. So he was racing in Chicago.
Yeah.
He reaches out to Ocean Spray, the company that makes the juice. Sure. And
Smart.
turns out they're like, okay, this is unique. We'll sponsor you. So they ended up picking up his flight and hotel and giving him
What?
basically a lifetime supply of cranberry
Have you
juice.
thought about
that's
reaching out to Ocean Spray?
No, I don't like the taste of cranberry juice.
You don't have to. You can just pretend they're paying
They
for the
have
other stuff.
different,
You're good.
different
Kool-Aid
flavors.
or
I mean, if they're listening, John, don't you love Ocean Spray?
need a sponsorship
That's right.
here and
We're
off
I'm
the
trying,
radar.
John.
No,
trying.
if you go back to my cubby, you'll see the hydration product that I'm not going to peddle right here, but I am a brand ambassador for. So.
Okay.
So maybe our
Oh.
next one. Are you a fan of mustard?
Mustard.
How about that response?
I mean, on a hot dog or whatever, sure, but
Before a run, yeah.
are we talking about hydration still? or is
Kaylee,
this-
did you just pick every ingredient that goes on a cheeseburger?
I'm kind
Where
of
does this
hungry.
come from?
Apparently.
Cranberries
Juice
go on
on a
cheeseburgers?
cheeseburger?
Well, it goes on the side.
Yeah, that's like a Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah,
Cranberry
yeah, it goes with the stuffing.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of mustard.
What would mustard do?
I don't know.
Did you just
Apparently,
pick random things?
I think she's just picking condiments now.
let's see what the next
Let's try
one is.
mayonnaise.
How about
Uh-oh.
bananas? Do they cure cramps? Alexis, have you done this one?
I mean, I've had a banana after a race, yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Feeling
passing
all.
them out during the half this last one.
I think they pass them out, after
little
races and
pieces. Yeah.
stuff because they're cheap. I just mean because bananas are cheap. Like
They
orange-
do.
there
You know,
orange
also you
slices
could
at soccer.
pull a Mario Kart and take the peel and, you know,
Oh, yeah!
not that I play dirty like that, but, you know, it's nothing like slipping on a
Whoa.
banana peel mid-marathon.
This is fantastic.
What
That's
about
it.
caffeine?
That's all of them?
That's all of them.
Caffeine, can't go wrong with caffeine.
Caffeine's good.
Yep, love my
Caffeine's
coffee.
Is it coffee you
cyclists-
do or
Yeah.
like an energy drink?
It is. So coffee originated as a performance enhancer for humans back in the hunter-gatherer days because caffeine increases your endurance
Yeah.
and ability to, you know, perform cardiovascularly. So,
Oh.
So do you drink coffee before a race?
yeah, not too much though.
Yeah,
too much
you just-
coffee is not a good thing.
There's
I've
other
learned from
issues with
experience,
that.
but just the right amount. Usually just 1 cup of coffee or 1 espresso and I'm good.
All right, well, let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see where we can run with our number 2 in our top 3.
Okay.
This one you may be running a little bit further up towards North Dakota, where they also they had a funnel cloud this
Wow.
time.
Yeah, that one's cool. That's a spectacular one. You can see this is an isolated thunderstorm based on the appearance of this.
Yeah.
So you've got some blue sky in the distance. John, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it looks like one of those classic upper Midwest supercells maybe where, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily a line of storms like we often get here, but Yeah, the Dakota, it seems like an active severe weather season in some parts of the country, just not Northwest Ohio.
We call this a low precipitation supercell there because not much happening as far as rain or hail or anything else with it, but enough to produce, obviously, that tornado. Nice find, Kaylee.
Just wait till number 1.
All right, well, we're going to have that coming up on the other side of this break, so stay with us here on Off the Radar. Don't run anywhere. Get it?
All right, Rangers, are you guys ready for a race?
Yeah.
Like what kind of race?
The Off the Radar 5K.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what? I am not running a, what?
That's a lot of trips back and forth here.
I don't think I've ran a 5K in
Ever?
years. No, I have.
You have ran a 5K?
Oh, yeah, I have.
So this one's gonna be a little bit different. There's
Okay.
no running, no movement involved.
Oh, then I'm
No
Sign him
movement.
up.
Oh, well, this is okay. Where do I sign up? Does it have donuts?
No, there's no food involved either.
Oh.
So for 5K,
I'm with you, Tiffany.
so you have to describe how you would run a marathon, a 5K, or whatever in 5 words for 5K.
Oh, so you have to come up with 5 words.
Anyone have it just off the top of their head?
I do.
Go.
Really, 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 really slow.
I got one.
Those
too.
are my 5 words.
As fast as I can.
Oh, so we're basically on the same wavelength right here.
Slow, steady wins the race.
Okay.
Oh, Mark,
The tortoise.
nice.
I just want to finish.
Alexis, that's good.
I would call in sick.
No pressure, Tiffany.
Can't wait to go home.
Oh.
That's good.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mine is I will never do one.
Right? I'm with
At least you're honest.
That is honest.
See, that wasn't scary.
I have 6. But
Go ahead.
No, it doesn't.
It can be a 6K.
Nah, it's all good. I'm not doing a 5K. I'm definitely not doing a 6K.
Don't give them
That's
extra
for
distance.
sure.
Man, well, how about we run for our
The
our
team did
next-
really well with that.
I am very
yeah.
proud of you.
Wow.
Didn't have to think too hard about that.
Wow.
I'm glad it wasn't 26.2 words.
I thought you were going to have us like run in place or something.
Yeah, when John comes back, we're going to do the off the radar marathon, and we have to come up with 26 words.
It's like a full
It's
paragraph.
a mini essay.
I mean, between all of our injuries, we're not running anywhere.
Yeah,
Especially not in dress shoes in the studio.
not a good idea.
Not
No.
happening.
But we are going to be running for our number 1.
Got your number 1
viral
now?
video. We
Okay.
are heading towards
Whoa.
Oh, across the
Yeah, we get
ocean
frequent
there.
flyer miles around here.
Australia.
You found
tornado.
3 tornadoes?
3
Wow.
tornadoes / funnel clouds this week.
These are cool. I think these were all tornadoes. Is this a funnel cloud we're thinking? I don't know. This is a long way away. I'm going to go ahead and say that those trees are churning up there.
It might be, yeah.
Is it an anticyclonic tornado
Oh.
since it's in the southern hemisphere?
Yes. Everything is
sounds
backwards.
fancy.
Yeah.
That's a
the
fancy
toilets
name,
flush
Ryan.
backward there.
Oh,
The
okay.
tornadoes do too. So-
He said
And they're
that
coming
again.
off their winter going into spring.
So they're
That's
ramping
true.
up their severe weather season.
Yeah, so they're coming off winter, going into their spring. So this is their normal severe weather season. I would
Yeah.
think. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
That's neat. I don't remember seeing many tornado videos out of Australia.
No.
Nope. I've never seen one, I don't think.
Well, we
Can't
can
say
change
that
now. John, thank you so much for being with us here.
Yeah.
This week's episode of Off the Radar. Always a pleasure to have you on.
You won the race.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John's like, just like a normal race, John's like, thank goodness the finish line is in sight. I'm ready
Yeah.
to get out of here.
I'm done with Off the Radar this week.
Didn't have to have any mustard, no cranberry juice. Just,
We got some pickle juice waiting for you here offset. So we'll get that to you. All right,
Got
so
some
for
donuts
all of
for Ryan.
our Radar Rangers, Tiffany, Mark, we got Tim, Alexis, Kaylee, John.
Ryan,
We'll see you next time here on Off the Radar. Take care.
are you guys ready to race?
Okay, ready, set.